This is The Bottom Line. The Bottom Line on 938 Live.
Now, there'll be 850 new hotel rooms in Sentosa by 2018. Last month, Far East Hospitality Trust said it will be building 2 new hotels to tap on different markets. The $444 million project will comprise an upscale Outpost Hotel Sentosa and the mid-range Village Hotel Sentosa. According to Sentosa Development Corporation, the island received a total of 20 million visitors last year. Gwendolyn Goh spoke with Executive Director of CBRE Hotels Asia Pacific, Robert McIntosh, and asked him what he thinks of the additional hotel rooms.
We view it as a positive, both for Sentosa and for Singapore generally. And there are a couple of reasons for that. It improves the range of offerings in Singapore because it offers something at the affordable quality resort level, which has perhaps been lacking in Sentosa, which has been focused very much on the upscale and luxury segments. And to add a significant couple of hotels in the more mid-scale and generally more price-sensitive sectors of the market could be very good, which would improve the number of visitors to Singapore and the range of offerings for Singaporeans themselves.
The total number of hotel rooms on Sentosa will increase to 3,800 when the new hotels are completed. An oversupply, perhaps?
We actually make it closer to 4,000 hotel rooms by 2018. The occupancy in Singapore is about 85% or greater at the moment. So we're not particularly worried by the increase in supply, which for the last couple of years across Singapore have been between 4 and 5%. And it's increasing it very slightly more than that over the next 3 or 4 years. But that's not a major issue because the demand has been continuing to grow. And even while we've had a bit of a slow up in the number of visitors to Singapore, the number of room nights that's been sold in Singapore has been improving this year.
Well, some analysts say it's a good strategy to tap into the mid-tier segment in Sentosa, since the majority of the hotels on the island are targeted at the affluent. Do you agree with that assessment, Robert?
There are more in the mid-tier market being developed across Singapore generally. So it's going to be interesting to see how that demand is generated across the market. But certainly there is a need for something more in the resort area.
So in your opinion, would the new hotels pose a threat to existing players on Sentosa?
No, I don't think so. The occupancy levels, particularly in casino hotels, are very high. And they have their own demand generator. And this is aiming at a slightly different part of the market. If anything, the marketing for the whole of Sentosa will be improved by having more hotels. And that of itself generates additional demand.
But tourist arrivals from a key market, China, have gone down, especially in light of the recent aviation incidents.
We don't expect that to be an endemic situation that's going to continue for a long term, because as people start returning and as that demand grows, the potential, particularly from China, is quite extraordinary for the whole region, and Singapore will benefit from that. We think that there is still going to be demand growth generally. And whilst there might be a very slight drop-off in occupancy, and we're only talking about 1 or 2 percentage points, this still puts Singapore at one of the highest occupancy levels in the whole of Asia, up with Hong Kong. The only issue that's been a challenge at the moment for the last couple of years has been labour issues, where some of the hoteliers are struggling to maintain the service standards in an economic way. That's been the biggest challenge within Singapore. But other than that, we don't think that there is going to be an inordinate additional supply, and we think that demand will keep going with that supply.
And that was The Bottom Line, brought to you by Turkish Airlines, Asia's best airline.